Honorable members, good morning. And also good morning to our guests from the great province of the Free State, Masilonyana to be specific. Welcome to Parliament. Welcome to the city of Cape Town. And thank you very much for making the time, the journey to come and speak to us today. Welcome to the team from the Auditor General, as well as the team from Parliament and all guests that are here. Firstly, let me just apologize for the late start. Sometimes because the members live in different parts of the city, if something goes wrong on the road, then you are going to get a problem. So some of the members will join, but also some of them are involved in other parts of Parliament's work right now. So you're likely to see new faces during the course of the day as people complete those commitments and so on. So thank you very much. I will just give a bit of background because this is also being a broadcast to the public. So we received a briefing by the Auditor General, as they do. But I also think that the Auditor General had sent a little note to the Speaker to say, if I remember correctly, I might be mistaken, but there were some municipalities that the Auditor General from the Free State had said, look, can you have a process with some of these municipalities because they're particularly challenged in many areas. And so that's the one side of the context. But more generally, we as a committee have also taken a decision early last year, in fact late in 2024, if I remember correctly, that part of our work is to interact with municipalities because they are at the leading edge of service delivery and the conditions under which people live. And so in our choice of areas we are going to deal with, some municipalities are going to be part of that because they are critical. So I'm saying this to say you are not being targeted at all. We don't want to just have one conversation with you and then you never see us again. At this stage, the committee wants to understand what is really going on, right? How deep the challenges are, what causes those challenges, what are you doing about them, and how do they relate to what the Auditor General is observing, and what your plans are, because the plans that you have in place together with other stakeholders, be it an administrator, because the municipality is under administration, but the administrator couldn't make it today because of a family issue. But that level of understanding enables us to have an ongoing accountability relationship. And we're saying this knowing that there is an election in November. In some municipalities we may see the same faces, in others not. This interaction is not about the personalities. So whoever is there, next year we will have the same conversation with them, right? Because we are more worried about the institution and the people of the municipality and the condition. So this is an ongoing conversation. So what I encourage is that in your interactions with us, you give us context, you are open about the challenges so that we may understand them, and then the members can better interact on that basis. So Honorable Executive Mayor, I am going to hand over to you because you are the head of delegation, and to introduce yourself and the team, and then you will go through the presentation. I would like to say, if possible, let us be done with the presentation around 22:11. It's 10 o'clock now. Around 22:11. But I will hand over to you, Executive Mayor. It's your team, so you are the general. So you decide how the battle is going to go. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, and good morning, honorable members, Office of the AG and Parliament team. My name is Dimakato Elizabeth Modise. I'm the mayor of Masilonyana local municipality. I'm here with Ndate Mojalefa Matlole, who is the accounting officer next to my left. And also the technical director, Ndate Themba Mthimkhulu. And Ndate Tshepiso Tsotezi, who is the corporate director. The CFO will join us a little bit later. She's delayed, he's delayed, Chairperson. So if I can continue, Chairperson, with my opening presentation. Chair, in detail report on the brief background, Masilonyana local municipality, we are 19 councillors, whereby 11 is ANC councillors, but we left the other one last week, whom is going to be buried on the weekend. And then 2 for EFF, 1 Freedom Front Plus, 1 Forum for Service Delivery, and 4 for DA. And in 20, if I can give a brief background, in 2015-16, the municipality, when it's migrated from a data M system to SAGE system, since the migration, the municipality has been struggling with the opening balance not aligning with the closing balance of 2015 and 16. In May 2017, the municipality was placed under intervention of 139, of which it was for the second time. The first one, it was in 2011. And both when the invokement of section 139 being uplifted, municipality was left alone without any handover report. The COCTA Free State appointed the consulting called FEZI for a period of 3 years to assist the institution with producing the annual financial statement, of which they were struggling with the opening balance until their mandate ended. There was no submission of an annual financial statement for some time since then. In January 2018, municipality appointed the municipal manager, Mr. Puletsekedi, and then the intervention was withdrawn around November 2018. Mr. Sekedi also appointed Nota Azania as a service provider to run the SEM on behalf of the municipality. And remember, there's no policy that says anyone who is not within the institution can run the SEM. The appointment of the Nota Azania impacted the contract of service providers appointed under their tenure, as they were considered irregular. In 2021, the council suspended the municipal manager, then Mr. Tsekedi, for, among others, for non-submission of annual financial statement for 17 and 18, 18, 19, 19 and 20. In September 21, the council terminated Nota Azania contract. The provincial treasury advised the council to terminate all the contracts that were appointed under the tenure of Nota Azania. In July 2022, the council suspended the acting municipal manager, who was Lungile Mukotedi. For, among others, it was for tampering with council resolution in terminating the contract of Nota Azania. And then the council further referred this matter to the contracts to the SIU. Hence, the proclamation by the president was made for the municipality. On the other matter, reported to the law enforcement, to the Hawks. And then the matter of Memukotedi was referred to DC board for investigation, and final report was tabled in September 2023. Council resolved to mandate the MM to implement the recommendation. And since then, while we were suspending this to incumbent, we couldn't appoint any other municipal manager. It was only the acting until September 2023 when we appointed the MM. And then others followed in 2024, January, and 2025, February and July, the technical director. But the detailed report will be reflected in the presentation, as I said, Chairperson, to be made by the MM through your indulgence. In conclusion, Chairperson, measures that we have taken above were under whilst there was no full complement of senior managers. However, we now have a full complement of senior managers with no vacancy at the strategic management level. We do, however, acknowledge, Chairperson, that measures undertaken might not have been adequate, but they worth being noticed. And also also the municipality has been placed now from the 1st of February under Section 139 in relation to this 3 sets of ages report. And I have also requested the appointed lead EXCO member, who is the administrator, to accordingly deal with them. And he produced a tangible financial recovery plan to council. And also be requesting the administrator to relook into the continued usage of the consultant for drawing up the annual financial statement and the fixed asset register if they are still found not be credible by the AG. That's my opening remark, Chairperson. If you allow me to give the accounting officer just to give us a full detailed report. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mayor, Honorable Chairperson, Honorable members. Like the Mayor has requested, Chairperson, I'll also, in the main, before the presentation, just touch basically where Masilonyana is. Masilonyana is one of the 5 local municipalities under Lejwe Liputswa district, where its head office is in Velkom. This is the municipality between Mangaung Metro on the south and Machaben local municipality on the north. It has a population of around 67,000. And the households are around 67. It's also having a high unemployment rate. And the main economic sectors of this municipality are mining, which is more or less like 40%, finance 16%, community services Thank you. Community services 16%, construction 1%, and that's more or less the economic main drivers of the municipality. The towns are Tienazen, which is the headquarters. We have Verkeer de Vlei, Winbeck, Winnie Mandela, which is previously called Brantford. Like the mayor has mentioned, Chairperson, this is a municipality that has experienced a lot of problems. It has a disclaimer approximately for 9 years. But our concentration and our presentation, I think, would be focusing more on the 3 years that there's been an audit on this municipality. We have the mayor as a member next to me. The speaker is Councillor Magata, and the chief whip is Mr. Tlahadi. We have Section 80 committees headed by Ntate, which is Corporate Services Planning and Development, Community Services, which is Councillor Rousseau, Finance and Technical Services, headed by Councillor Tlahadi. Like the mayor has explained, we have a new team from this municipality that started 1st of September, which is myself. CFO started 3rd of January, as well as the Director of Corporate Services. We have Mepinki, who is the Director of Planning and Development. who started it's written 3rd January here, but I think it's much later. I'll get the month. Director Temba, next to me, is the Director of Infrastructure and Technical Services, started on 2nd June, and the Director of Social and Community Services, Meg Sina Makhatlela, 1st of September 2025. And this is the council composition of political parties in council. Mayor has already mentioned that. In terms of governance, we have an executive committee system, which is relatively functional, and Section 82 committees also optimally functional. They could be better. The issue, I think, in the main is a problem of scheduling at times, which I think makes it difficult for MEICO to sit on the day that has been set on our calendar. Council, it's also operational. And then we have also had the special council meetings which are convened as and when required. In terms of other council committees, we do have NPEC. We would say that there are challenges. Our NPEC is not optimally functional. There have been assistance in terms of training by Corktown at the provincial level, provincial treasury, as well as SALGA. But this is coming towards the latter part of its term of office. That's why I think we are attaching the label that it's not optimally functional. We'll later explain in terms of what do we mean by functionality in terms of the work that it has done or was supposed to have done. So this committee, it got revived around 2025, the latter part of 2025, assisted by those sister departments that I've mentioned. We do have a risk committee that is in place, but it was also towards the latter of 2025 that it was more functional. We have a chairperson who's coming from a provincial treasury who's assisting the committee. So in the way there's been that improved governance outcome going forward. We have our LLF, which is functional, but requires also a bit of a strengthening. And they're also looking at SOP to develop further and be able to address the gaps that do exist. And then SALGA and Corktown, as well as organized labor, continue to support our LLF. On the DC board, for a period of time, the municipality has been utilizing the shared service of the district DC board. Recently, in late 2025, municipality appointed its own DC board, which is functional. We also are having the APS, the audit performance committee in place, but historically the previous one has not been functional, and most of the time they relied having their meetings on virtual platform. But the current one, I think it was appointed 2 months before we submitted our AFS. So its functionality is measured in terms of just them having started, but they've had several meetings with both council, MEICO, as well as administration. Our ward committees are reasonably functional. They've also received training from those both COCTA and LGCTA. And then that support is provided through the Office of the Speaker, and they assist with public participation, service delivery monitoring, and accountability. In terms of the audit performance from 2022-2023, up to date, the municipality has been under disclaimer. Key observations, though, are that despite the disclaimer, there's also been audit outcome that have remained unchanged, but the audit findings have also been reduced from 55 paragraphs to 25, so meaning that the 30 findings are being addressed, and we speak to those through our post-audit action plan in terms of what we need to address. In terms of our interaction with AGSA and feedback that we have received, both in terms of management letters and also in terms of the audit outcomes, we are sharing that the root causes and governance challenges are around to one on issues of governance. As I've said, the audit committee only became functional later in 2025, and then the main challenge has also been around our internal audit capacity. There have been some weaknesses, but we also sought to address those in terms of getting somebody to be able to assist. Our second body of challenges is around the financial administration, where there are weak reconciliations, especially as it relates to bank and also creditors. And it has been mentioned in a number of audit outcomes about our weak supporting documentation and record management. We have also received in the past MI in relation to record keeping. And we have since appointed somebody in that space who's assisting us to deal with the matter. Our main problem and also the cause of our problems are around revenue. Our billing system has deficiencies and also weak credit control measures. Like we have mentioned, that we do have now the new audit committee, and it managed, even on the verge of us submitting our previous AFS, to have a look at those and provided their input, especially to council and management and areas that we need to improve on. And those areas are internal audit charter, which has already been given to the audit committee to approve, as well as our internal audit methodology, our annual audit action plan, quality assurance improvement plan, as well as audit action plan implemented and monitored regularly. So we are doing those with the support of the APC. The total debtors as of 31st of January 2026 amounts to 2.1 billion after a monthly average of payment of 5.3 million received towards debtors, which amounts to 19% in terms of the average percentage. And below, the table below just shows our collection rate for the 3 financial years, where in 2022-23, a billed amount is to the tune of 187 million, amount received 29 million, balance not paid 157 million, and the percentage collected during that year on average is 15.6%. The ensuing year, 23-24, the billed amount was 182 million, the amount received 48 million, balance not paid 133, which put us around 26.6% in terms of what was collected. 24-25, billed amount 339 million, only 48 million collected, 290 million not, and the average of a percentage collected, it's 14%. The slide talks to collection challenges that were encountered per financial year since 2022-23. It's a culture of non-payment, as well as economic factors like high unemployment rate and the rising poverty levels in this municipality. And secondly, our defective billing and data systems are a challenge. We still have outdated customer databases and faulty billing systems leading to inaccurate billing and loss of revenue. This is a matter that I think GSA has also referred to in their reports. In relation to infrastructure and technical services, we have losses in respect of, or rather the cause of that, it's illegal electricity and water connections, where our meters have been tampered. So as a result, we have huge revenue losses. We also have a weak debt enforcement. We have unresolved customer disputes leading to non-payment of customer accounts and loss of revenue as well. In terms of our account management, monthly customer accounts were also not regularly issued to consumers. Of course, we have some remedial action where management has introduced incentives in trying to make sure that consumers do settle their accounts. And we have established a revenue enhancement committee, which is represented by different departments in the organization. And also all disputes relating to valuation role were also addressed through the assistance of our provincial COCTA. The municipality has ensured mechanisms are in place for issuance of monthly customer accounts. In terms of UIFW disclosures, we have irregular expenditure for this period 2022-23 amounting to 19 million. Which is a matter that has been referred to MPEG for investigation. The ensuing year 23-24, the amount is to the tune of 33 million, also been referred to MPEG, and 24-25, 47 million, where it has also been referred to MPEG. In respect of fruitless and wasteful expenditure, 2023, it's around 15 million, 23-24, 6 million, 24-25, 15 million, and as of March 2026, it's 40 million, and all this has also been referred to MPEG. We have in terms of annexures, included our UIF and W registers. Like we said, MPEG is due to conduct its mandatory sitting as per schedule, but we are also quite aware of the challenges that have been faced by MPEG, its slowness, and hence the request that internal audit must also be able to assist in that regard. The municipality has also developed a UIF-W reduction strategy, which we have also included as an attachment. We have also provided, as requested, deviations for the year 2024-25. We have provided those. And in the main, it would also be around the sittings of BAC, as the mayor has mentioned that in the past, you'd have the municipality not having a full administrative leadership. In some cases, you would only have the one director who was also acting as the municipal manager, and the rest of the departments were headed by managers. So that in itself had an effect in terms of compliance in respect of MFMA as it deals with issues of a supply chain. This slide, the chairperson talks to the projects that we have and talks around issues of compliance. We have in detail mentioned where compliance was not strictly aligned and what were the reasons. This slide, chairperson, talks to, I think, the elephant in the room. We are a municipality that is having challenges in terms of service delivery. And in the main, our issues around the issues of water, sanitation, and electricity to some extent. So all the efforts are challenged to be able to deal with this. The below paragraphs were extracted from the audit report where AGSA raised material findings with regards to misalignment of SDBIP to the requirements of the performance management regulation. The KPIs linked to KPI for the core functions of the municipality did not conform to SMART principles, which is a requirement to ensure that the service delivery targets are met. You know? So to the extent that if those were not aligned, our APCs are not aligned, it would give the impression that there's not been a service delivery in relation to that. It's a matter that we have since improved on and then made our KPIs smart and measurable so that it's easier for those to be checked. In terms of capital projects, the AGSA raised material findings with regards to the composition of the bid committees and lack of monitoring from a project management point of view and complying to the conditions of these grants. I've already mentioned those, that at times where there was no full complement of the managers, hence they affected the composition of the bid committees. It's also important to note that these historical challenges are currently being addressed and the number of interventions employed for the expression on the service delivery reports for the current financial year. And Chairperson, I may mention that we have done an analysis in terms of our challenges around the service delivery. Like I've mentioned, the components of water, sanitation, electricity, and roads. And as a result, have been able to mention what should be happening in the immediate, medium term, and long term. But of course, I think the challenge is also around financing of those infrastructure. In respect of a human resource component, this department, especially those around service delivery, they have 127 employees, and that includes 4 project management coordinators and technologists who are both dealing with water and electricity. We are being supported by MISA, wherein they've given us 8 intern graduates to assist close the gaps in the department. This is what I'd mentioned earlier on, Chairperson, around our key service delivery components being electricity, sanitation, water, and roads, where we said we have done analysis on each and every one of them. And for example, on electricity, would be issues around the aging electrical infrastructure, frequent outages caused by equipment failures, vandalism of our infrastructure, limited operational budget for maintenance, and insufficient fencing and security at substations, backlogs in relation to new stands that have to be electrified. I've mentioned other challenges that I won't go through, Chair, under sanitation, water, and roads. And this slide, Chairperson, talks to interventions that are speaking to those challenges that I've mentioned. And we are doing it now in terms of the 4 towns that are under the municipality. Those towns being Tienazen, Winnie Mandela, Brantford, Winberg, and Fikiri de Flay. And we are having, especially in Tienazen, for example, we have commissioned a 2 megaliter reservoir so that we increase the storage for supply. And we are also waiting for approval of funding for the construction of a 3.7 milliliters reservoir, where it will also increase our storage to 10.2 ml. We, as I've mentioned also around the issues of Brantford, we also have those challenges in place, but we are also getting assistance from DWS to deal with those challenges. As I've said, our main challenges at this municipality is issues around water. And later, this is where the technical director could also be able to provide direct inputs in terms of what we are doing, and then how much has been budgeted by assistance of other departments, and where the gaps are. This slide talks to challenges around sanitations and how we are dealing and what are the current interventions, and we have done those in terms of the 4 towns that we have. Interventions insofar as roads, it's, we still have a pothole patching programs, road grading initiatives, construction of block paving and stormwater projects, disaster-related stormwater rehabilitation projects, development of roads maintenance plans. The municipality has also drafted a rural road asset management system, which I think assesses and in the main informs us about our poor conditions of our roads. But this has been estimated to be around 205 million. We are also working with DBSA under a partner, a district program, wherein they've also made an undertaking to fund our master plans, not only on roads, but also master plan on other services like electricity, water, and sanitation. And the amount of 25 million, it's in our current budget. This slide, Chairperson, still talks around our current intervention insofar as electricity is concerned, and those current interventions are made in respect of each and every town that exists under Masilonyana. The slide, Chairperson, deals with long-term infrastructure solutions that, if required, the Director of Technical Services can also talk to that. The current projects that we have are Tenazan wastewater treatment works, budgeted for 28 million. Progress is around 90%. And then it has created job opportunities for 30 people. Next one is Winberg outflow sewer and rectification, around 30 million. Water conservation and water demand management project, also in Winberg, 14 million, 69% in terms of progress. Switch station in Winberg and Bromford, it's a completed project of 6 million. Upgrading of wastewater treatment works, 72 million, which has been completed in September. Upgrading of 1 kilometer gravel road in terms of block paving, 14 million. Electrification of 210 households in Winberg to the tune of 6 million. Which has also been completed, and retrofilling of street lights in Bromford to the tune of 3.8 million, which is 92% in progress. And all in all, these projects, they provided work opportunities for 143 individuals. And this slide talks to allocation and performance of those projects. In respect of project management, this is also what we had to strengthen, because we had a situation where we have a PMU and with PMU coordinators, but I think there were gaps until we appointed a substantive director, and then we are making improvement in terms of project management. What functions are they supposed to do, and then what would be the indicators that will show that we are reaching our project management goals. This slide, Chairperson, talks to consequence management that has been implemented where there have been malfeasance. The mayor has already spoken to some of this, where a previous municipal manager was suspended, but later his contract got expired. And then we also had an employee who was the technical director, but also acted as the municipal manager, where the matter was also taken to DC. And then also the last three being individuals who were working under BTO and who were also taken through disciplinary measures. And then most of them were dismissed. We also have investigations. The mayor has mentioned this, a proclamation under SIU, where it's looking at 2 tenders. And to date, we have received the outcome of the first bid, where we are asked as a municipality to take through 2 out of 3 individuals to disciplinary process. I'm saying 2 out of 3 because the third one is a municipal manager who's no longer with the institution. But we are assured that SIU is also looking at the criminality side of the matter. The second one, it's an upgrading of a Bromford Sports Center, phase 2. We have not as yet received the outcome in terms of what should be our action in relation to this, but we are just told that it's a matter of few months that we will receive those. That is the end of our presentation, Chairperson. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that presentation. May I ask if the Executive Mayor wants to say anything more in addition? You are okay for now. Okay. So I'm just going to ask a few questions of clarity also because there is an administrator in place. So what I am going to ask is particularly for members of the public. Can you just explain in plain English, and you've done well so far, how the decision-making works in the context of having an administrator? So how does it work? That vis-a-vis the municipal manager, vis-a-vis the council, and so on. Can you just explain that for more context?
Thank you very much, Chairperson. As I've said, our intervention, it's a 139B, meaning that council is still in place, but the administrator has executive powers, except only 4, meaning that you can't interfere with council passing on the budget, the IDP, or if council was to do the loan. So those 4 are the preview of council. But he has executive power. The mayoral committee is still in existence, but at the end, administrator has to ratify their decisions. The statutory powers of the municipal manager are still in place as the accounting officer, but we also sent reports where he also has to ratify where there were delegated powers. So in the main, he is the person who has also introduced our mandatory financial recovery plan in terms of what we need to do going forward. And he has consulted with business stakeholders, community, in relation to the challenges that we have. And so that plan, which has council has formally adopted, it's being monitored by the administrator. Thank you, Chair.
All right, thank you. So if I understand you correctly, then the administrator is kind of between yourself as MM and the council. If we were to put it loosely, you still table the issues before council and so on as it would work, but before it gets there, there is a conversation that takes place with the administrator to see if what is intended to go up to council is correct. And then when resolutions come down and things have got to be done, they go through there's another conversation in both directions, basically. Would that be a correct way of describing?
100%, Chairperson.
All right. No, thank you very much. So that's the one thing I wanted to ask. I also noticed in one of the slides, and the Auditor General raised this issue, and I'd like you to talk to the financial viability of the municipality. I noticed a couple of things. The first is the amount of money that you owe to some of your creditors, including ESCOM. Can you talk about that vis-a-vis what you are able to collect? And what the drivers of that are, because I looked at that picture and I thought, sure, it doesn't say to me this municipality can swim on its own financially. So can you just talk to that universe of issues for better understanding?
Thank you, Chairperson. Indeed, the position of the municipality in respect of its financial viability, it's a distressing one. Our main creditors are ESCOM, which is owed around 300 million plus. We also have the water board, Sunfirst, which are also in discussion in terms of what is being owed. I think it's 160 million, if I'm not mistaken. And then there are 3-4 pension funds. In the main, it's SALA, which is around 130 million. There's one which was previously SAMU Pension Fund, but the name has changed. Yes, that one. And it was owed 11 million. They took us to court. I think we are about, we owe them more or less around 2 million. And then others that were there previously have been paid. So we are in discussion with SALA to have agreement in place. And most of the chairperson are historical, but the administrator is equally concerned. Around that, we have arranged meetings with all our creditors at different levels to enter into discussion, because previously there were agreements that were made, but the municipality did not honor those. Our collection rate is it's very low, as you have demonstrated in our presentation. But we have since gone through the National Treasury transversal in relation to heavy meters. And one of the service provider that we have appointed, there's also been indication of amounts that will be able to get per month. For example, in relation to water, would be the tune of 5 million per month, which would be dedicated to what we owe ESCOM. We are in discussion currently with ESCOM in terms of a DAA agreement, and but it will be in such a way that it takes into account what the municipality is able to pay from the side. So that's how I think we'll be addressing the main creditors that we do have.
All right, thank you very much. So can you just, and I want to talk about the issue of the pension, because I am going to read what the AG has said to us, what is put in a presentation. So if you can tell it like a story, because you've answered it in a way that somebody who's familiar with the issues might pick up very quickly. So let me read what the AG says. So it's undergoing concern under the topic unfunded budget. So honorable members, in that presentation, that would be slide 40 in that presentation with all the municipalities in it. It says included with the contingencies in the comparative figures is 97 million owed to third parties. That includes 75 million owed to a pension fund, which were cleared from the register on the basis that there are agreements that are being serviced. A reconciliation between the summons amount and the amounts actually paid is not included with the contingency register, and the relevant supporting documentation for such reconciliations were not submitted for audit. Right? You get that? So should I go through it again? Not that you're not listening. I'm realizing I said a lot, and you might be hearing this specific bit for the first time. Should I say it again? Yes, please. Okay. So in slide 40 of that AGSA report, where they had all the municipalities, Mafube and so on, slide 40, undergoing concern, it says, so included with the contingencies in the comparative figures is 97 million owed to third parties. So total is 97 million, but of that 97, 75 million is owed to a pension fund. Then it says which were cleared from the register on the basis that there are agreements that are being serviced. Reconciliation between the summons amount. So there's also a summons issue, so you need to explain why there's a summons and that kind of thing. Summons amount and the amounts actually paid is not included with the contingency register. In other words, the amounts that are summoned and then what is in the contingency register right? So in other words, what you've paid over and what is owing, when you reconcile the two, they don't match. That's how I understand the thing. I might be not reading correctly. In that the supporting documentation is missing. So there's what you say has been done, then there's a supporting documentation to show that what you say has been done has been done. The supporting documentation is missing, and therefore the Auditor General couldn't really work out whether this had been the case or not. So what I'm going to ask you to do is just say, how did this debt arise? If you can, how did it arise? What became the dispute? What has happened in the end? And particularly then, this concern raised by the Auditor General about supporting documentation not being available, what is that and why is that? So I hope it makes better sense now.
So thank you very much, Chairperson. I will attempt to raise that, but through your permission, if you could also ask Director Corporate to step in where there are gaps. Like we have mentioned, Chairperson, historically, SALA debt was not honored.
So when you say SALA debt, so remember that, so you need to say the acronym. So what is SALA debt?
Okay, thank you. What is in full the name of the pension fund? South African Local Government.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's the pension fund of the local government workers or so. So just say something like that, because then even the public can follow what you are referring. You can describe it.
Yeah, that's correct, Chairperson. Yes, in the main, there would be 5 pension funds in our municipality, and this SALA one is the highest owed. Like I've mentioned, last time I checked, it was 130 million. So we still have to check, where the 97 from AGSA comes from, but from the correspondence that we've been having, it has been around that figure that I've mentioned. But since the administration of, since we arrived there, we have been making payments, But what normally happens, they take our contributions to the areas of the amount that we owe.
Can I interrupt you? So let's start here so that we are together. So it appears to me there was a period when the municipality's contributions to the pension fund were not being made. Would that be correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have said there are 5 in total. So I'm assuming you're supposed to make, you being the municipality institutionally, you are supposed to make contributions to all of them as per membership of the staff. The question is, did you have a similar problem with the other 4 where the contributions were not being made?
Correct, Chairperson. When we entered the space, all 5 of them were owed different amounts. But I've mentioned SALA being the highest. The second one was this by previous SAMU, which is, that's correct, and they were owed 11 million. They took us to court in respect of that. We have been having discontent amongst members of that fund. And they have been saying to us, don't pay this fund, we don't know where they are, and all those. But we know that we are obligated to pay for them. And they've helped themselves in our account. They attached our account. 5.7 million. On our own, we paid 3 million, I think.
So before, we're still describing the context now, okay, so that we're all on the same page. So what you are saying is, so right across, there were these contributions not being, why were the contributions not being made at the time?
Chairperson, I would imagine it's mostly because of where the municipality finds itself in terms of resources. But I would also venture to say that I think it's also negligence on the part of administration, because you have to make arrangements, you have to explain yourself to creditors why the case is. So there's no justification for not paying.
Okay, so I've got some questions of clarity from the members, but what I'm trying to get you to do is to just tell the story, like I was saying earlier before the meeting, as if we are sitting outside and we don't know anything. So just tell the story normally, and before I go to the members, you might deal with these issues. So just say, okay, so we were owing this kind of money, and then the process that began to rectify it is X, Y, Z. And then we had the audit with the AG, and this is what they noted, and this is what it means. So that's all I'm asking you to do. So there's no trick to this.
Thank you, Chairperson. I can say in shortly, based on the revenue collection that we have on a monthly basis as a municipality, indeed the money is being deducted on the salaries of the employees, but based on the collection, we are unable to honor the current account of the pension fund. Hence, normally we pay only when we get the equitable share, because our salary bill per month is 15 million. And if Chairperson can check how much we bill and how much we collect on a monthly basis, we sometimes even get 1.8 million on a monthly basis. And we are owed, I think the MM was supposed also to explain that we are being owed by government department as well as the mines whom we are struggling even to get our money to them. They are not paying on a monthly basis.
All right, thank you very much. Honorable Madlala, you wanted some clarity, I noticed, and Honorable Skosan.
Thank you, Chair, and greetings to everyone. Well, the first clarity I wanted was to establish exactly, because I learned that from the introductions, the municipal manager and the CFO, I think, joined sometime last year or something like that. So I wanted to establish exactly who are we dealing with, who is here, and how long have they been in the municipality. If they are coming from outside, or if they have been here, then they've been promoted. Who was part and parcel of this mess? Because part of the full story I want to hear is what for example, if you're mentioning issues that there's not enough revenue generation, what has been the interventions you've made, engagements with Treasury, and how short they've ran? And if there was an issue of misconduct, how has it been dealt with? That's the full picture we want to hear. And the story that someone was not making payments because there was no money, but we've applied to the Treasury and we've made this plea and stated our case and it's not being addressed, or it's an issue of misconduct and there's people that are not here, because part of the clarity should involve what has happened with the people who are not here. Did they resign? Were they fired? The CFO that's coming in joined also last year. What happened to the previous CFO? Just that kind of a full picture, Chair, which is what a clarity I wanted. Thank you.
No, thank you. That's very helpful. Honorable Skosana, your point of clarity.
Thank you, Chair, and good morning. I'm sorry that we came late.
And welcome. Thanks for visiting us for a change.
No, I'm not visiting. I'm back. You know, visiting is like I'm going tomorrow. Yeah. Now, what I wanted, I heard something about an administrator and a municipal manager concurrently working together. That's what we are confirming. There's a municipal manager and there's an administrator. Chair, I just wanted that clarity, because the issue about Masilonyana, at a later stage, we'll talk about it. The issue that my colleague was asking about, people who were there for the last 20 years, the opinion is the same, declined. You know, but we're gonna get into the into the real matters of this municipality. I'm not even sure whether like the other one which we were dealing with when I was still here, but I'm back here. But really, for me, Chair, I'll be honest, and I'm going to be blunt. There's no municipality here. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Skosana. Honorable Atkinson, you also had a point of clarity.
Yeah, thanks very much, Chair. I'm sorry, I just want to make sure I heard right, just about the comment that was made about the monthly amount that you take. You said it was 1.5 million a month that you get in income in the municipality. Am I correct? And your salary bill is 15 million rand a month. Okay, sure. I mean, it's completely unsustainable. So the next thing, I know it's in the report, but what is your percentage of collections that you're actually getting?
All right. Thank you very much. You're welcome, by the way, to project the slides again to wake up your computer and so that the members can also look. Thank you very much. You got all of those questions, right? Okay, thank you. So if we can deal with those points of clarity.
Thank you, Chairperson. I'll deal with the first two. Director will deal with the last one. Okay. Honorable member raised the issue around the historical legacy issues, what has happened, whether there's been consequence management and all that. As you know, that it's supposed to be the accounting officer during that period who has to respond. Mayor, in the introduction, also made mention of two municipal managers that were taken through disciplinary process, and the other one who, during that process, the contract expired. But the very same municipal manager in the SIU report has also been fingered in relation to one of the projects. So that's where I said we'll deal with the other two who are still part of the municipality, but him being outside, we said the SIU, are you dealing with this on a criminal, a level? And then they confirmed that. So I guess it's also part of a consequence management. But Honorable, it may not only be Masilonyana, but in the past, I think there are several municipalities that have not paid, especially to pension funds, the contributions, So that's why we said there was a question mentioned. In our slide, we had mentioned when were we all appointed. I was the first one to be appointed, 1st of September 2023. And then a CFO and the director 4 months later, 3rd January of 2024. And then the rest, 2025, yeah. So, but we are taking responsibility in terms of what we find as a municipality, despite the fact that it may have been our predecessors. But the mayor has mentioned what steps were taken in respect of the previous municipal manager, as well as the one who was acting as a municipal manager. And then there are other cases that are with law enforcement agencies that are dealing with those. But the fact that all of them are outside the system, we can't follow them up. Yeah. The second question from Honorable Skosana, yes, we are confirming that there's coexistence between the administrator and the municipal manager, stemming from the constitution in terms of 1391B, whether it's A, B, or C. In the case of C, it's only that the administrator will take total control of council. But with B, the specific duties, like we have explained, and the chair clarified that. So yes, there is a coexistence, and like we have mentioned, that it's already helping the municipality in respect of a financial recovery plan.
No, thank you very much, Chairperson, honorable members. Let me just probably attempt to explain this subject of administrator. Okay, I think the explanation will assist in order for us to unpack it correctly. When there are gaps in, as an example, a service delivery, the Constitution permits a provincial government to intervene. Such kind of interventions are varied. Okay, one of those referred to, particularly in our case, is Section 139 B. Okay, B itself, if you look at it, looks at some of executive powers that now probably are taken from the original source. Okay, now that gets under the purview of the provincial authority. Okay, maybe what confuses it, and with your permission, is the fact that we refer to it as administrator, when in actual fact it's EXCO lead rep, because they come at the behest and authority of the provincial executive, so to speak. You know, so where necessary, they can overrule the decisions made by council, except for 4 reserved spaces, which so ably referred to earlier. I thought I could explain that with your permission. Now, in terms of honourable members who is still there, okay, the started in 2023 September. Okay. The CFO started on the 3rd or the 4th of, let's say, January 2024. So did I, also as Director Corporate Services. Okay. Later in the same or the following year, we were able to bring in Director Planning and Development, a new department where we broke community and some of the functions. We created a new department. And then we had Director Temba here, technical, starting in June 2025. And then later on in September, we were able to bring on board Director Makhatlela, who's responsible for community and social services. So as we speak, we have a full complement there. Thank you.
No, there's an aspect, I'm going to deal with it now. I'm suspecting out of your question there's something outstanding, ne? Is it the issue of who was promoted and who came in or not? Is it a new thing? Because you had also asked that question and it wasn't answered.
No, Chair, it's I've been answered now on this aspect, so that we don't waste time on it. Because I wanted to understand exactly who was part of this audit process. So when they say
the audit
when
process.
they say the documents were not submitted for such reconciliation, it means it is these people who did not submit the documents, not anyone
that was
else.
that
So I wanted to
aspect.
understand
Okay,
that,
no, that's
and
fine.
I've been covered now. I will
No,
deal
thank
with other
you.
questions later. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Skosana, it's still clarity because
Yeah,
Honorable
a quick
Mende
one.
is
Yes,
chomping at the bits.
A quick one. I just wanted to find out is that Amos Mukwaye, who is it Makwaye, is the one who replaced Kelvin. Is he here? The CFO, because I think, Chair, for us to move nicely in this meeting, we need the Chief Financial Officer here. And if he's not here, Chair, you know what's supposed to happen. Thank you, Chair.
All right, thank you very much, Honorable Skosana.
Thank you, Chair. We had mentioned that the CFO is supposed to be part of the delegation, and I was informed that he missed his last night flight, but he was on a morning flight. So he's supposed to be here, and as far as I know that he's coming. But we can, if the Chair allows us, also be able to check exactly
Sure.
where he is. Yeah.
Yeah, so what we had been told is that he's on his way and will be in the meeting during the course of the proceedings. We just couldn't wait, otherwise we would finish very late. All right, one more thing?
Through you, Emma. Yeah, just the latest, I've received text that he has landed. He should be on his way to the venue, yeah. He should be here any minute, actually. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Honorable Mende, can I indulge you with your first 15 minutes, or you are declining at this stage? I always start that side, so...
Please, Chair.
Also, I should... Okay,
Let's
you'll
go.
come back. You will come...
No.
Oh, you want to go?
Yeah.
All right, please go ahead, yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Chair, I know we have the evening session as well. I just want to get the basics in this 15 minutes, and good morning to everyone. Comrades, I would like to have direct answers, no long answers, because we're trying to establish the basics. To the mayor, I believe you come from the municipality that is very familiar with the teachings and the lessons of Mama Win. You are. Do you think what the municipality is doing at this point under your leadership, will she be proud of you? Will Mama Winnie be proud of this municipality now? You can go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you for your question, Mama. I don't think she will be proud in terms of the challenge I believe that we have raised, that we have as Masilonyana.
As Masilonyana, now I'm asking about you as a mayor. When you reflect under your leadership for this term of office, are you proud of yourself?
Not at all.
I like the fact that we are being honest, we are getting somewhere. Now, why have you not led with an example and dissolved the municipality through the necessary methods that are applicable to you, because there is no municipality here? What had stopped you from advising such?
As a collective type of municipality, I can't have the powers to can resolve the council. I don't have the executive powers, but we are a collective type of municipality.
Yeah, I know that. That is why I'm saying, why have you not advised? Have you at any point sat with your caucus and say, we don't have a municipality, let's go back, or rather allow the municipality to be run fully by people who have capacity to run it?
If I can explain to you, Honorable Member, as I've indicated that in 19 councillors that we have, the entire 13 councillors, they are new in local government. That's what I can say to you.
Mama, the fact that they are new, it doesn't answer the question. The municipality itself, with all the new people that you say they are new, they are public representatives. They are there to give services to the people. At this point, you have not complied with any rule of law in respect to running a municipality. You said it yourself. The MM echoed you. You have challenges with water. That's a basic necessity. You have challenges with electricity. That's a basic necessity. You have challenges with compiling financials and declaring the income of the municipality. You are not depositing money into public pension funds. You are not in line with the appointments of service providers. There is no contract management. Income is spent. KPAs are not met. Nothing ever is complied with in terms of the rule of law and in terms of the running and providing the services as a municipality. None of those things are happening. My question again is, why have you not advised that let's go and ask the province to take over the municipality, or find a way of getting this municipality into a rerun?
I think based on the report that I submitted to the province, hence the province decided for the intervention of 139.
And have you complied with that 139 in providing all the reports to the MEC?
Indeed, I did, even the premier.
So what is their intervention except the 139? Because the 139B is not going to help.
The provincial treasury, they did send some team to assist in finance, as is our big challenge, and also there are interns that were sent to assist in finance.
So there is a provincial team in Masilonyana on the ground. What is it that they are doing?
We've got six interns, and then the National Treasury sent the technical expert to assist in finance.
We're getting some.
And even the office of the premier did send other interns for a corporate department and HR.
So can I sort of, did you say interns?
I want to check. So the province sent interns, not qualified people, to assist in finance.
I do said there are two technical people that was sent by National Treasury and province, one from province, one from national, to assist in the finance department, excluding those interns that I said they were seconded in our municipality to assist in finance.
Which other departments do you have assistance in? From Treasury and from the province?
It's corporate and HR.
Why do you need assistance in HR? What are the failures in HR?
When I said corporate, it was reflected in terms of the contract management. So even the report did state that the municipality previously were not having the intern committees, like your risk committee, which was not even functionally, the audit committee, which was not there, an internal audit committee.
Do you have MPEC?
Yes, we do have MPEC, as it was not optimally functioned as it was stated until now in 2025, when they were assisted by AG, Salga and Treasury for their training.
Are they now optimally functioning? And for how long?
No, they only did produce one report for those reports that were sent to them, but they do have their schedule now for their sittings on a weekly basis.
Okay, thank you for those basics. Now we're going to go back. Let's start with the pension fund. When AG says 75 million owed to the pension fund, which was not cleared from the register on the basis that there were agreements. You have explained the agreements and all of that. My interest is, where did that 75 million go to? When it was not deposited to pension fund, what was it aligned with in terms of the services? What did it pay for?
I don't think the 75 million, it was paid to anyone, but what I believe, it was deducted there to the employee's salary, but There was not enough money, as I indicated, based on our collection and also the money that we pay on a monthly basis.
So in a nutshell, you are saying it is available and it can be paid into the pension funds.
I'm not saying that but the pension fund it has to be paid by the money that the municipality collected on a monthly basis. But if we collect less than the money that we are owing to our creditors, we can't even afford. Hence, the attempt of making arrangement has been done by the municipality with the creditors that we have.
So it's not cash in hand, you don't have it.
Exactly. Correct.
Where would it have come from? Because if you have a pension of 75 million, which is supposed to be banked somewhere, in order for the workers when they leave to have pension, it ought to have been banked somewhere. Where is it?
And I remember, I don't know if I've been understandable here. I said based on the collection, monthly collection that we have as a municipality, I even indicate that in sometimes we bill people, but we get below 1.8 million, and based on our salary bill on a monthly basis is 15 million. So if we have to pay 4 million for a pension fund, getting that 1.8 million, how will we be able to pay the money? Unless depending on the grant that we have as an institution.
What is your salary bill a month?
I said it's 15.
And your collection is again? I just want you to report that.
1.8 to 2 million.
Now, can you agree with me that you are not running a municipality? Because if your salary bill is 15 million, your collection and a cash in hand, including the allocations that you get, is 1.8 million, you do not have a municipality.
I think I agree with you at first.
So how are you running this municipality with such a low cash? How do you pay workers?
Obviously, we will have to utilize those grants.
Which grants? There's different grants that you are
equitable
given.
share.
Yes, I get that. It's equitable share. Which grant in particular that you take from? You get, let's make an example, you get MIG, and it must go there, no salaries. You get all the other grants. If you qualify for electricity grant, you get electricity grant, and it must go to electricity. Now, you are saying you take from the equitable share. From the equitable share, or let me ask it this way, you must also come in and help the mayor. Out of the 100% allocation, how much is the salary bill from the 100%? How much do you spend? What's the percentage of your salary bill against the 100% allocation?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Let me explain that. Thank you. Let me explain that on the issue of how much is equitable share. The problem that we have is that in the past, there would be workers that are paid, but the pension fund does not follow that, meaning that currently you'd have 8.8 million on a monthly basis, but it excludes pension fund, which, as the mayor says, gets paid when we get an equitable share. It also, that 0.8 excludes an amount that should go to pay SUN, to SALS, SDL, and all that. So when we receive an equitable share, we sit down and look at and project for the next 4 months, we need to be paying for the salary of the workers. That will be 8.8. And secondly, what is it that we should be also allocating to SARS, to pension funds, to ESCOM, and all those main. And then you'd even find that National Treasury would even write to us to say that you won't receive your equitable share if you have not allocated AGSA.
No, MM. You are going too far. The question was simple. I allowed you to explain. I thought you were going to get there. The question is, against your 100% allocation, how much percent is your salary bill, inclusive of all the benefits that must be paid by you?
It might be, I'm going to ask the CFO to give us the correct amount. I don't want us. Mayor has mentioned 15, and her 15 encompasses the basic salary that gets paid without pension, without paid in SARS and all that. So I'm going to ask CFO to give us the amount, but it will differ every time.
No, it can't differ over time. So you are employing people every day. You should have one stable amount. This is a salary bill of Masilonyana. And now against the budget. Because what we need to get here is the people you pay, are they equivalent to the services they deploy? Because it starts there. The mess that you have in Masilonyana, it starts at paying people who don't have work to do, including yourselves. We're coming to you. We're still dealing with the entire budget of salary bill. CFO, what is, even if you give it in monetary forms, not percentages, if you get 100 million, and against the 100 million, how much per month goes to salary bill, inclusive of pensions? Thank you.
That's why I said, Chairperson, I'm going to ask the CFO to give us a specific amount.
That is fine. That is fine. Mr. CFO, welcome. I'm assuming you are the CFO. Honorable Member, you're over your time, by the way, but we need to close. Or you can come back later. We need to close on this issue. So are you in a position to answer this question? Because what it says to me is if the salary bill is 15 million, 15 times 12 gives you somewhere in the order of 180 million, thereabouts per annum. The question from Honorable Member is quite simple. How much of your equitable share allocation do you use towards that 180 million?
Sorry, Chair. Before the CFO comes in, last year I was part of the team, the joint Scopa, COCTA and SCOEG team that went to speak to Masilonyana. According to the records there, the salary bill then was 11 million.
Per month?
Yes. So now we're being told of 15 million. Maybe if the CFO can possibly elaborate and tell us what happened.
That's fine. All right, thank you so much. So can we just type on that and then we'll move on to the next member.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Let me first start by apologizing for late coming. I got serious challenges at home, but I told myself because of I've been summoned to be here, I will be here. Hence, I arrived late. Yes, the question relating our total cost of employee to the company is in the range of 14.4 million is total cost to the company. Our net salaries to the company is plus or minus 8.5 million or 8.9. It depends because people are getting bonuses on a monthly basis, depending on the appointment that they are engaged with the municipality.
Sorry, can I just, I know I'm gonna distract you, but you mentioned bonuses. Do you mean 13th check or
Yeah,
do you mean a
13th check.
bonus? Or 13th check? Okay.
Yes, yes. So if I multiply that 14 million by 12, I'm getting something like 168 million. And our equitable shares is amounting to 157 million. So you can just hear from that perception that our municipality is grant dependent. We utilize equitable shares, like alluded to the point that when we get our tranche of equitable shares, first thing that we allocate, we take the salary bill, our net salary, multiply it by 4 months until we get another tranche of our equitable shares. So we dependently relying on grants as a municipality. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. No, so, sorry?
Now, can we get the complete report annually? What is your equitable share? And annually, what is your salary bill? That's what we need to know.
I think
It will lead us to all other questions.
Okay, I think I've touched on that. I said our equitable shares annually is 157 million. Our salary bill annually is 168 million.
So I think I heard you saying then your salary bill is paid through the equitable share in effect.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think that's our answer there.
Yes.
Okay, no, thank you very much. Anyway, Honorable Member, there'll be time later on. Honorable Kubeka, can I give you your 15 minutes?
Thank you, Chair. And Sanbonani, everyone. Chair, like I just said now, I was part of the joint hearing with Scopa, Cocta, and SCOEG last year. And when we spoke to Masilonyana, Chair, there were many issues there. One of the issues was the had blocked the water supply in protest against the mayor. Cars were bought at an auction, I think it was 5 bakkies, by the without the approval of anyone in the municipality. A new bank account was opened by the using a deviation, which account the was controlling, I don't know with who. The was testifying in Mafume municipality on behalf of the CFO. The mayor charged the previous and called for the SIU proclamation, okay, that's separate. The paid people to protest against the mayor. Do we still have those issues, and mayor? Because when we last spoke, if I remember correctly, the mayor was in tears, complaining about the issues that the was doing to the mayor, and vice versa, where to a point where there were actually fights inside, almost fights inside the municipality between the two of you. And if you'll recall, we had serious reservations about that as the team that was conducting the hearings. What is the situation regarding those issues right now? According to you, Mayor, separately, and according to you, Please indulge us.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mayor. Honorable Member, I think on those issues, they are being handled by administrator. But the relation, we are working together with the because now the administrator is there, and then I know where to report, and then the know where to report. But those matters are still being handled by the administrator.
So, so Mayor, when you're saying the matters are being handled by the administrator, are you talking about, I'm talking about the protests here, the protests that were arranged by the according to, I think this was your testimony when you said the mayor, the MM was arranging protests against you. Do we still have those issues?
No, Honorable Member.
How were those issues handled?
Those issues were part of the report that I've sent to the Premier as well as Mr. Cocter, hence the invoke 139. But that report on its own, it was given to the administrator for investigation. Remember in that portfolio committee, when the MEC Cocter as well as the Premier, they will say, when they were saying they will handle the matter, they will take the matter up for investigation for those allegations. Those were the allegations. That was also supposed to be tested in council.
I don't think you're answering my question, Mayor. How was that handled? You're telling me about a report. What was contained in that report that you sent?
The Speaker of Council did write a letter to me to say the allegation that you tabled to the portfolio committee, let them come and be tested in council, in an ordinary council sitting. And we did that, and also he wrote even to the municipal manager to say in writing, come and test those allegations that you level against each other. Yes, and there is an ad hoc committee that has been appointed by council, led by administrator, to investigate that and report back to council.
Okay, thank you. MM, indulge us, please.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Like the Mayor has said, there are no personal issues between myself and the Mayor. It was never the case. And where there are different perspectives, we are able to share that. And it may happen at times that we see things differently. But that does not constitute a problem between Mayor and MM and being a personal issue. We relate very well. We deal on the issues. Issues that were, as the Mayor says, that were mentioned in that committee. You remember we had a report in the committee and a presentation, and all those issues that were mentioned from the side of the Mayor were also addressed in the report. And then province was tasked that if there are any other issues between MM and Mayor, province would come and deal with those. I would, as the Mayor says, that the fact that we are under 139, the administrator is ceased to deal with those. And to date, there are no personal tensions between the MM and the Mayor. I think that matter was probably exaggerated.
Okay, thank you, MM. And this one I'll read this paragraph about notes from the AGSA to the whole team from Masilonyana. Masilonyana local municipality is in a full-scale governance and service delivery crisis. The AG has given the municipality a disclaimer audit opinion for 5 consecutive years, meaning auditors could not obtain sufficient evidence to even form an opinion on financial statements. This is the worst possible outcome. The situation is not improving and it's getting worse. Record keeping deteriorated so severely in 2023-2024 that reliable general ledgers and trial balances were not even prepared, making meaningful and auditing impossible. Despite paying 2.7 million rand to external consultants to help prepare financial statements, the statements were only submitted on the 6th of December 2024, months after the legal deadline, and still received a complete disclaimer audit opinion. Now, to the CFO, CFO, speak to us about that, please. What does that mean? What does it say to you? And why would you go and spend 2.7 million rand and then still get this kind of audit opinion? What does that say about your record keeping? What does that say about your competency the competency for yourself? And I'm not sure if it was you who was still there or not, or maybe you came in after the fact. Please, indulge us.
No, thank you very much, Chair, through MM. I agree with the finding from Auditor General in terms of that. This municipality has been getting a number of disclaimers for the past 9 years due to the fact that upon my arrival in that municipality, officials were transacting outside the financial system. Every transaction that we do as a municipality, we need to do it through our financial system so that at the end of the financial year, when it's time to prepare the EFS, you are able.
Apologies, CFO. They were transacting outside.
Outside. Yes.
What does that mean?
Meaning all the payments that were done in the past, they were not done through our financial system. They were doing those payments manually. So I believe that because of, you indicated that, AG indicated that we submitted the EFS that do not have GL, even the dry balance. When we submit the EFS normally, you need to provide AG with a complete GL that is agreeing to dry balance, even the lease schedule. So when I was searching for that information as well, it was not there. So I had to start from the scratch, go 5 years back to capture all the invoices that were made outside the financial system so that we can have a complete and accurate dry balance and GL that we can utilize to prepare EFS from. We started from last year, where that's where Auditor General was able to audit full components of components as far as EFS are concerned. But in the past, like in that financial year, I think Auditor General, they only audited HR, payroll, because for payroll, we are using another system to pay salaries and capital projects. So they did not do anything, they just dismissed our submission of annual financial statements. They only started last year to audit at fully. So now we got the basis in terms of addressing all the challenges that we have because of under this financial year. That's where we are planning to improve at least. Last year, when they were doing the audit, they even Auditor General applauded us because of they indicated that during our weekly meeting that it's the first time that the municipality is responding in terms of the submission of the support documentation to them on time.
Thank you, CFO.
Okay.
I'm trying to understand here because there was a new bank account that was opened by the MM using a deviation. Is that still the case? Are you operating from the account that was opened solely by the MM? Is that true, that the MM actually opened a bank account on his own and the municipality transacted using that account, or is it not true?
It's not true, Chairperson. As a municipality, I think it's Section 8 of MFMA, the municipality is allowed to have a number of bank accounts, but from those number of accounts, they must identify one bank account that can be utilized as a primary bank account. So the bank account that we are referring to is a secondary bank account. We are not doing transacting through that bank account. We are just putting our investment money there, but everything has been done on the primary bank account. So
please tell us, what was that bank account that the MM opened? What was it used for? Why was it even opened?
It's a call account for investment. If we have money here, we just transfer it, we accrue interest on it. Yes. We are allowed in terms of MFMA that we can invest municipal money. It's allowed.
Okay, you still have not answered the issue about the financial reporting consultants that were paid 2.7 million. What is the story behind that when they're still going to give you this kind of audit opinion?
It's true, Chairperson. Those people were, when I arrived there, they were already appointed. However, because of this challenge of official transacting outside the financial system, I think that is...
You explained that to us as well, officials transacting outside of the financial system.
Yeah, I did, in the scope. Last when we were in Free State, we reported on that the official...
Okay, could you explain it to us from scratch? What does that mean?
We are saying they are contradicting the MFMA because of, in terms of MFMA, we need to transact through the financial system. So it was wrong what they did.
Okay. Chair.
Sorry, can I just assist in this way? So that you don't feel defensive. So these meetings are public meetings. So each time, all of us, I also have a similar problem. You are dealing with an issue that we've dealt with. I can tell you right now, there are people who don't even know there was a meeting last year. You understand? So sometimes, in order for us to be on the same page, even if you had explained something last year, you are talk as if you're talking to new people today. So just tell us. So, and again in simple English, what we mean by transacting out of the system is activities like this that we noticed, and that was against the rules, etc. Then we all on the same. I've stopped your clock, Honorable Kupe. You understand? So please do that, because I was not in that meeting, for example. So even me, I don't know what was explained. Yeah. So please just be patient and.
Okay. What I mean when I say people, our officials were transacting outside the financial system, in terms of the standard and norms from National Treasury, there is a system that has been deployed to the municipality called M-Score. So that M-Score needed to be implemented from 2017 by the municipality. And every transaction that you are doing as a municipality, we must do it through utilizing that system. So the system was procured by the municipality, was there, but it was not utilized. Everything was just procured outside the financial system, meaning they were just procuring without even supporting documentation. Because let's say you buy a bottle of water, there must be a request by the requesting department, and HOD of that department must authorize that request, and then that request will go to budget to check if the funds are there. And then if the funds are there, the same request will go to supply chain to source the requisition in terms of the chain of supply chain, the way it's supposed to work. So that system allows us to do that. But because of these things were done outside the financial system, we don't know, we don't get anything, we don't know what happened. We just see the money just went out from the bank statement paying some of the suppliers, but there's no invoice, there's no request, there's no purchase orders. We don't know if the services were rendered. So we are in the process of gathering that information now so that we can improve because of, in terms of the internal audit, external audit, if we want to improve as a municipality, at least all the supporting documentation must be there. You can check in the previous years. We're clubbed as a municipality, I think, by 4 material irregularities that were assigned to the MM. We managed to deal with others, but the record keeping one is still remaining there because of we still have that challenge. So now I'm in the process of approaching different suppliers to try to get a supporting documentation so that we can report adequately to Auditor General so that we can improve as far as creditors are concerned. So
thank you.
We implemented in control for going forward everything. We are doing it through the system now.
No, thank you. You've explained the matter. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, CFO. Now, just as a point of clarity, that was happening before you arrived. Was MM not aware of that? Because I believe he was there. And please correct me if I'm wrong. Did the MM not know that that was happening?
No.
And how long was it happening while MM was there?
He can answer for himself,
He
by
can
the
answer
way.
for
He's here.
himself. Yeah, he's right here.
Thank you, Chairperson. I was appointed 3-4 months apart from the CFO, and there was no CFO when I arrived. There was somebody who was in that position. though not properly appointed by council, because at that level it's a council that needs to appoint. So those are the issues that we realized when I was going through different departments, that there's a lack of capacity within the department. The person that was acting was not even at the managerial level. That person was just an accountant. So those are the things that we had to sort out. And it went to the level of even taking disciplinary measures against the said person who's no longer with the council because of issues that did not go right during the period of that person when he was acting.
Okay, thank you, MM. Now, I will revert to the mayor now. Was the mayor not aware of this?
Thank you, Chairperson. I was aware about the situation from 2018. That's when the municipality started to act to transact outside the system, as the CFO is saying. And however, hence we were in contact with the Treasury just to assist us, because in 2022, December, we did appoint the CFO, Mr. Khwaban, who only lasted for 6 months and just absconded to the municipality, just leave the work, and then we have to re-advertise.
So basically, Mayor, you were not able to assist in that regard.
As I've indicated, Honorable Member, the position in the municipality from 2018, there was no CFO in the municipality, it was only the 18 positions. And that is where the two of them, those individual officials, they appear here in terms of the financial management.
Okay, so basically, Masilonyana is under section 1391B, is that correct? Could anyone here, out of the executives, including yourself, Mayor, that are sitting here, tell us, why should this committee not recommend the dissolution of Masilonyana under section 1391C? Why should we not recommend that, given the total and complete disaster that Masilonyana is in? Can anyone try and defend?
I don't follow, Chair, which committee?
We are in Scopa now. I'm asking, can any one of you defend why we as Scopa should not recommend to national and province that you as Masilonyana should be dissolved under section 1391C? Why should you continue as a municipality? Would it not help you to actually be dissolved as a municipality?
Can I take the challenge, Chair? Like we have said, and we have also been advised, given what the current status is, we have done that in our report. We have not shied to mention what the weaknesses are, the challenges are. We have gone insofar as service delivery, BTO, and all that. We are mindful that these issues are historical. There's a legacy around this, you know. Many of us, our people who know us that have been in local government would say, why did you choose to go to Masilonyana and all that? Somebody has to do it. That's why we are there. That's why there's been a lack of administrative leadership, as it has been explained, over a period of time. But since then, there is substantive substantive CFO, and other directors. And with the admission of AGSA, there have been improvements in certain aspects. I've made an example that despite the fact that the municipality has been under disclaimer, And those disclaimers, most of the time, has been as a result of somebody writing a letter to AGSA that don't come and even bother to come and audit us, just disclaim us, because they were providing AFS through the bank statements rather than going into details dealing with what AFS requires. But since then, like the previous audit, it has gone through A to Z in terms of auditing. That's why it's able to mention that you were not even accounting on issues that are relating to APC. That's why even your KPI were not smart. We have since changed that. So we believe that a council has appointed competent people in all the departments to be able to take the task. Even when there were challenges around 139 were being discussed, we also provided inputs in that regard. So I think we are servicing a car that is moving, and there's a light at the end. Otherwise, nobody would want to go to a municipality when he knows that it would be career limiting. But we are prepared to do that.
Thank you, Honorable Gupeka's time has long expired.
Last question.
But you can ask one last question.
One last question, and I'll ask it given what the member's response was.
Sure.
Auditor General, in slide 27, shows 0% of planned service delivery targets achieved, including water connections, wastewater treatment plant registration, road maintenance. Slide 26 confirms that the budget spending figures could not even be audited due to record-keeping failures. Officials received salaries while delivering nothing. So that reading what the AG says and what you are saying, it's a complete contradiction. Because AG basically says that you guys are not doing anything. We've basically got zero competency. You are delivering zero targets that you guys planned. So I'm not sure how you would go about challenging what the AG has said, given that evidence says zero planned service delivery targets. Please indulge us there, and thank you, Chair.
Chair, Honorable Kubeka, we, in our slide, there's a slide that talks to APR, that talks to objectives that were not met. I mean, we had mentioned that in the slide that the way that the APR was done in the past and not having clear objectives has led to the comment made by the AG that your KPI are misaligned, meaning that the work that was taking place, even in service delivery departments, in the APR is not reflected like that. And we made point clear in our slides. We are responding to that issue of zero delivery. And it's in our slide, Honorable Kubeka. Yeah. But I've also mentioned that going forward, we have in our SDBIP, in our KPIs that directors have signed, we have corrected that. So that if we say that there will be 5 kilometers of tarred road, that is measurable per quarter to what extent. In the past, they were not even submitting a performance work to AG. So that's why they will say that it's zero.
All right. Thank you very much. Thanks, Honorable Gupek. So let me just, Honorable Madlala, I'm going to come to you because you are not here. So I'm just going to make this observation to Honorable Gupeka's question, which is, I think the basis of the question is that the municipality does not have the means to sustain itself. So it's not inherently a statement about you guys. When it says, why should you continue to exist? It it's suggesting that the municipality does not have the ability to sustain itself, to do the bare minimum. So let us take the numbers that you were giving. If you are collecting about 2 million rand, to be generous, per annum and per month, and your salaries is about 14 comma something million, it says to me that you also then will struggle to find your operating budget. Right. Which means when then the sense is that you're not doing anything to deliver, again, it must not be mistaken with laziness. If you don't have the money to put diesel in the car to go out and do something, it means you are stuck in the office or you're stuck in the workplace. You can't move. You understand? That appears to be what we are facing here. And I think that was the premise of the question, which was not answered, by the way, directly, which is, given that scenario, why should the municipality, just as an institution, be allowed to continue existing? I will let you reflect on that. We will see each other later again. So you don't need to answer. But I do want us to keep some of these raw realities in mind. That appears to be what we are dealing with here. Right. Honorable Madla.
Thank you, Chair. Once again, greetings to the delegation and to everyone. I don't think I'm going to take 15 minutes. I think I'll take far lesser than that for now. For now, Honorable Scosa.
You must never believe members when they say I'm going to be short. We have a member here who says, I won't be long. And then he says, check and I have more time.
So, what I want to understand, colleagues, we don't expect municipalities to perform miracles. Some problems are broader than and more complex than the jurisdiction within which the municipality operates. But what we expect is the municipalities to do what they are supposed to do. Because that is unjustifiable when we don't do exactly what we are mandated to do. So, for example, I would like to understand why on the issue of the pension fund that we dealt with, the AG says that there were no supporting documents submitted, because that is within our jurisdiction, that's within our ability. We may not have ones for previous years, but when we are here and we are saying we're turning the corner, then if we're given R1 to buy this, we must be able to produce an invoice and a process due for it, especially if it's happening within our own time. If it is before our time, we have a responsibility to investigate and to ensure that we follow up with the relevant authorities to recover the monies. So I'm just on exactly what is within your responsibility, and it says that the relevant supporting documents for such reconciliations were not submitted for audit. Can I get a response on that first question?
Thank you, Chair. I think the question was asked previously and the CFO was not here. If, through your indulgence, we could ask him to respond to that.
All right, okay. You understand the full context of the question. All right, no problem.
No, thanks, Chairperson, through Yes, indeed, as I alluded to the point that the supporting documentation that Auditor General is referring to is emanating from previous years. The current year, the supporting documentation is there. When Auditor General do their audit, they will first start with the follow-up of the prior issues. So all those prior issues are related to non-submission of the supporting documentation. Hence, I'm saying now, currently, I'm working on that, getting a different supporting documentation so that we can submit for audit purposes. But for current year, yes, the support is there. So in terms of reconciliations, reconciliations are there. What happened last year? We performed the reconciliations, but the open balances were issue. So we had to go, I think 4 years back, to reperform all those bank reconciliation to get the amount that is accurate and complete. However, even though we did that, the Auditor General was not happy because of the were journals that were processed amounting to 45 million that we were working on this year, because we need to investigate every transaction, actually what happened. We are working on that. So we had to go back 4 years back to reperform all those bank reconciliation to get the correct figures, because of if you don't deal with your bank is going to affect every amount that is going to be disclosed on the annual financial statement. So all those figures, they must be accurate and complete. So the exercise that is very important or critical is to ensure that the bank reconciliation are complete and are performed on the monthly basis for going forward. So unfortunately, because of the records were not there, we had to go back 4 years and come to date in terms of preparation of those. So now we are on track. We are performing those bank reconciliation on the monthly basis. However, we still identified some discrepancies when we were preparing those reconciliation between the GL and rebalance. So we did our reconciliation. So we are still investigating what makes those differences, but the reconciliations are there. And then even the Auditor General, they already started with the audit. They requested those reconciliations. So immediately or tomorrow when I'm back to office, I'm going to provide such information to them for audit purposes. So they are auditing us for this audit now. Before we can even submitting the annual financial statement, they are already engaged on their assignment, because of they want to assist us to ensure that we improve as far as external audit is concerned. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
All right. So I have a sense that this response may be generalized across the report, and we may be disadvantaged by the fact that we do not have certain facts before us. And because the next question I was going to come to relates to the irregular expenditure and your fruitless and wasteful expenditure, where there is 0% recorded of money recovery or even in process. That's what the AG says, that there is 0% of the 47 million on the other side. And the reason the AG says is that the new leadership that was recently appointed has not prioritized investigating these irregular transactions. And the leadership was appointed in 2023, and we're in 2026. And I want you to believe that you want us to believe that you are now doing it. Is that so?
Yes, before you see, that's correct. We have said it in the report. We have clearly stated the weakness of MPEC, that it has gone through training, but it's happening towards the end of their term. And the mayor also mentioned that there's only one report that they provided, and then I think there are 3 or 4 that are outstanding before the end of the financial year. So we have clearly stated that as a problem. But we have also, where investigation has taken place, and then followed the consequence management in relation to that. The effect of recovery, for example, I've mentioned the report that we've received from SIU, where they also want us to take the disciplinary process through. We are busy with that. There's also an element that, look, this proclamation, you are supposed to pay SIU 55 million, which we had not budgeted for, and our discussions with them was that can it not be that where people are pointed out to have done ABC, which is wrong, can recovery not take place at that level? It's something that we're in discussion with. I'm not sure whether we will win, but those are the efforts that we're making. Thank you, Chair.
All right. No, we'll still come back to some of these issues. We're just trying to deal with the breaking point for these 15 minutes. So there is an issue of debt impairment. The AG registers that debtors' accounts not recoverable according to management. For the 2023-2024 year, amount to about 241 million. Can you just explain to us what debt is that which is not recoverable of 241 million?
No, thanks, Chairperson. As we indicated that we have a low collection rate of our revenue in that municipality. When we were preparing our annual financial statement, we went through our debtors book, and then we identified all the debtors that were not paying even a cent to the municipality for a longer period of time. I think we considered the debtors from 140 in terms of our aging and upwards. And then we provided a provision for bad debts in terms of that. However, because we did it in totality, when AG were doing their audit, they identified some of the farms, even I think government institution, where they were part of that. So they were not happy in terms of that. Hence, they rejected that. They said, no, go back in terms of your policy, and then you provide for a correct calculation as far as debt impairment is concerned. So we are going to correct that under this financial year, Chairperson, by applying a correct formula in terms of our policy. Thank you.
So, just a quick follow-up on that. So you mean that okay, let me start here. You've got a consultant company helping you with your financials?
Yes.
So you're saying that despite that, the AG suggested that the formula you had applied was not proper. It could not be accepted. So are you now in engagement with the AG in terms of establishing the correct way of coming with the correct principle to arrive at your debt impairments?
Yes, we are having a regular engagement with Auditor General. However, on that point, we haven't discussed it. I think 2 weeks back, we were discussing the issue of the assets because of that municipality was operating without a credible fixed asset register for a number of years. So last year when they were doing the audit, the issue was only the methodology in terms of costing of those assets. So we're only discussing that, but we are still going to come and address that matter as well. But we are having those regular engagement with them on a weekly basis, Chairperson.
All right. And then the issue of the loss on disposal of assets and liabilities for the 2023-2024, the AG says not disclosed. Or that was before you guys arrived?
Yes, Chairperson.
Okay, no, it's fine. Let me move towards closure, and then we'll come and deal with follow-up questions. But let me just say this, which I think is very important. Fundamentally, across the state-owned entities and municipalities, the biggest problem we have is the political will of those in leadership to resolve the problems. It is not the capacity issue. So the training of MPAC may not resolve the problems because some of these problems are man-made. It's not the inability to ensure that things are done properly. It is the unwillingness, which is a problem. And that is where leadership must show character in terms of consequence management. And I'm not sure from what we read in terms of how financials are managed and how you are responding to the matters, whether you've got the necessary vigor we've got the necessary agility to deal decisively with the mess that we are seeing before us. Because it's not necessarily an administrative mess. Administration is the output of it. It is the issue of the political will to change the situation within, obviously, what is in your abilities. We're not expecting you to suddenly collect 5 times more if you are in a royal demarcated municipality and so forth. So that is a challenge that I'm experiencing, and we can spend the entire day on this report. It looks bad, but it's not only what is outside your abilities, because we're almost halfway through this financial year. So we can request a report from the AG of what you are saying you are doing currently, or when we meet in the next 6 months, we may see different faces, or we may get different explanations. And when we don't get an honest opinion of things, we are deprived an opportunity to intervene as the committee. Because it's not only about just accountability, it's also about how do we then, as a society or as a collective of government, come up with interventions that are viable for the sustainability and ensuring that our people get service delivered. So I just want you to ponder on that and maybe help us a bit more. You know, I'm saying I don't feel that you, Mayor, maybe I'm directing this to you, you are still confident that you can turn the corner with this municipality. And you are decisively engaged in a process, meticulously and scientifically, to ensure that things are done differently. But as the last comment, Chair, which I think is very important to input, maybe we'll deal with, I don't know, the provincial and COGTA, you know, the unsettling issues, the issue of interns. Because it's one thing, I was an intern before, and I hated it. So interns they cannot be part of the rescue team, never. Interns are there to learn the job. So they must operate under mentorship of certain people, but also it cannot be 12 is to 1, because you said there are 2 technical people and a lot of other interns. So maybe that's not your issue because they were just sent to you, but it's important because we're dealing with the issue of, this is a public engagement, that we can't have municipalities and government entities leading the charge on using interns as cheap labor to rescue municipalities. And in some cases, municipalities that have got funded vacant positions, which they could be filling to do that work. So I think it's important to just register that. Otherwise, we'll come with follow-up, Chair. I think I took less than 15 minutes as promised. Thank you.
15 minutes and 42 seconds you took. Can I ask, because we haven't taken a body break, and because we can walk in and out, you generally, I see Executive Mayor has been sitting here. So let me just ask, do any of you want to take a quick body break? Or because we're supposed to finish at 1 for this segment. So you tell me, I don't want to abuse you by making you sit here. Are you comfortable to continue until 1 without taking a break? CFO, when you can't say yes, you arrived late. When stay out of it. Stay out of it, CFO. Okay, Mayor, we can continue. All right, no, thank you very much. Honorable Skosan, it's your 15 minutes.
I'll take less because you said something earlier. Thank you, Chair. Last year we were sitting here, if you remember, Chair, and I guess some members remembers what I said, and I'm not going to repeat that again, Chair, today. I said what I said last year, and we are back to where we were last year. But just to help, as well, I think that it is proper for us to help Masilonyana municipality. I just want to make that comment first. To say perhaps it would be prudent for I don't want to say the GNU this time because I'm not sure what is the status quo in the Free State. That perhaps these municipalities, not only I think there's Malodi and the other one.
And Tsobotl.
Yes. I understand the distance, you know, perhaps the distance, but it might not be a problem because if you look at the Northern Cape, into one ward, the other one, the distance was almost 300 kilometers away from each other. 300, one ward. Now, I'm not sure whether it's visible for, I mean, it's really, it will make sense that they get together. I mean, there's only 19 councillors, am I right? And almost everyone is an executive there. MMC for this, MMC for that, am I right? Or you don't have, it's only executive mayor and the speaker.
No, we've got 3 MMCs.
Only. Now, yes. And when you go to other municipalities, you've got around 10 or so because of the grading of the municipalities. I'll ask, I think my colleague as well, the Honorable Mentor, ask about whether is it possible that this municipality dissolve. Not that it's personal. I guess let's start there. It's not personal. To help each other and helping our people, that you can't. If your recollection revenue is around 20%, there's no way that you're going to sustain that municipality. Hence, you're going to end up using the grant money to pay salaries, which grant money is not meant for that. I'm not sure whether Executive Mayor, do you understand what I mean? What's your take on that? Do you support the statement when I'm saying it would be better if they combine this municipality or dissolve this municipality? This is directed you, Mayor.
Thank you, Chair. Chairperson, I won't deny what the honorable member is saying, but also I will request the House through my presentation also to take back what I've responded in terms of the historical issues that was happening in the institution. And also our biggest challenge in the institution is finance, even the billing system, as it was presented. To say even we are highly litigated by our consumers in terms of the wrong account that were being sent, but the matter is being addressed now. But for what we are saying, in the honest truth, it's supposed to be like that. I agree with you.
Thank you. Because in your slide 2024, and I'm going to direct this to you as well, Mayor and the municipal manager. I'm not sure about the administrator because I came late. Is the administrator here? No. Now, I think you understand why I was asking the question, because we're told that the administrator is in full control. Am I right, MM?
You are right, Honorable Member.
And he's not here, or she's not here.
I apologized on his behalf earlier on, Honorable Member.
No, normally we know in the Police Portfolio Committee Chair, once the person like that is not here, we turn them back. And it becomes a unfruitful, wasteful expenditure. Yes, we did that because he has a lot to answer himself because he's been seconded by the provincial government, am I right? Under section, yes. Now, slide 24 confirms that there's no disciplinary report which was established. No allegations were investigated prior to the UIFW was not investigated for yet another year. Slide 30 confirms no action was taken on any material irregularities until AGSA formally notified the municipality. 5 years of disclaimers. In fact, it's more than that. I guess, I don't know, because on my records, I think I've got more than 5 years of these disclaimers. 0 targets achieved, 1 billion rand reversed without evidence. And slide 33 confirms nobody has been held accountable. Name one official who has faced disciplinary action for financial misconduct at this municipality in the past 5 years. What I've seen in one slide here, it says that an official was suspended, and because government by its nature is bureaucratic. But that official returned back to the municipalities, back to the municipality. Am I right? Now, the issue of consequence management, do you have anything perhaps which would differ to what I've said already?
Through you, Chair, we have provided information on the slide in relation to consequence management, and it also names officials that have gone through that process. But we also agree with you in terms of one official who has been on suspension for more than a year, and that was brought back and then taken through the process, and then was back in the municipality. Mayor mentioned earlier that yes, we had DC board at a provincial level, at a district level as a shared service that assisted us to deal with one official, Section 56. Thank you, Chair.
Now, on record keeping, I'm going to direct this to you, MM. Deliberate or incompetence. Slide 6. State record keeping further deteriorated in 2023-2024 to the point where reliable general ledgers and trial balances were not prepared. Slide 24 confirmed this caused the disclaimer opinion that was already flagged in 2022-2023. Hence, I'm saying last year I've raised some issues here when the municipality appeared before us here. And it's got worse. At one point, does this committee deteriorating record keeping, not as incompetency, but deliberately concealment? And what is the municipality response to that characterization?
Firstly, through you, Chair, can I find out, Honorable Skosana is referring to slides. What?
AG.
Can you reference from AG?
From AG, yes.
Okay, thank
Yes.
you. We don't have that, but I think after this, if we can provide that to that, so that if there are gaps in terms of, we can even respond to that. As it relates to the issue of record keeping, we have admitted that we even had a material irregularity in that respect. Then we have since appointed a person, a manager, who's dealing with the matter to prove. Because if you don't have records, as the CFO mentioned that invoices to the tune of 140 million were missing. That has an effect in terms of quality of our AFS.
So are you saying 154 million is missing?
I didn't say 140 million is missing. I said the CFO in his presentation made the point that they had gone back, they're talking even to service providers to provide invoices where invoice could not be found. And this is as a result of transacting out of the system.
Haven't spoken about missing millions, which you just mentioned now. You said 100, I'm not sure the figure, but you said it's missing. You used that word.
Okay. Do you want to
Let me assist the MM. In the past, what happened when we were zooming in our payables or our creditors book, we managed to identify creditors that were paid 140 million without any supporting documentation. And then as a result of that...
sorry, 140 million?
Yes.
Okay.
And then what we did after we have discovered that, we contacted suppliers to get some of the information, but the official that was acting on that time was found guilty by the municipality, was dismissed as a result of that. but we managed to get a supporting documentation to reduce the number. I think last year we managed to get invoices amounting to 120 million, if I'm not mistaken. We are still chasing the invoices amounting to 20 million this year. So we will make sure that we get supporting documentation as far as that is concerned. But the official who made that was charged and dismissed. Thank you very much.
So in other words, there's no money missing.
There's no money missing. The issue is only the supporting documentation.
I'm going to direct this to the executive mayor. You know that the council must, the council function is an oversight authority. Am I right? Are they doing that, or are you doing that with the council?
Thank you, Chairperson. I said in the report, yes, the Section 80 committees did sit, even the council is sitting.
Yeah, you know why I'm saying this? You remember that Kaunda, the chairperson of the committee, raised those issues with you. Am I right?
Correct, Honorable Member.
Now, have you done anything about it as we speak now? Because he said it some months ago. After the assessment, have you improved on that? In other words, I'm trying to find out whether next year when we comes in here again, are we going to be addressing what we addressed last year? Because those things, as I'm sitting here, nothing has improved. We're sitting here in May, Chair. Last year, we are here in May again, but there's no improvement at all. In fact, it has declined. So my question again, Mayor, is that, assessment as presented by Kaunda and other, because he was in that, I did not join the joint committee. They've red flag many irregularities in that municipality. Are you satisfied the way things are happening as we speak? I want us to be practical. Because we are not here to serve our self-interest. We are here to serve our society. The community of your municipalities, the issue of water, understanding that we are owing water, we are owing electricity because of the lack of collection of the revenue in your municipality. As we are sitting here, I'll ask you, are you happy? Like my colleague has asked, are you proud sitting here about what is transpiring in your municipality? If you need help, what help do you need?
Yes, I'm not happy, Honorable Member, but I think, as I've indicated to the report, that we are dealing with some huge historical backlog in the institution, and mainly, particularly, is in the matter of our billing system. In finance, that's where we were having a challenge. And I even indicated that there were interventions that are being taken by the provincial department to assist us as a municipality based on the report that we gave to them to assist us in terms of capacity. And also the issue of the litigation, that as the report says, the administrator is on the ground talking to those people who are litigating us based on the historical issues that happen within the institution, as I indicated that even the SCM itself was run by a consultant.
It's unfortunate, Chair, but I'm not going to delay my former, there's former mayors among us here as well, and the deputy mayor, and they know better. This issue of legacy, every year, every admin, when they come in, they blame the previous one to say it's not us, it's the other administration. But my last parting shot, Chair, we were so embarrassed as South Africans when because government, the way it operates, the systems, there was an issue where a sheriff have to come to attach your assets. Am I right? And remove your assets as a municipality. And that leaves much to be desired. In fact, it's scandalous, to say the least, that there's professionals who some of the students in universities are looking upon, but our officials in the municipalities and other government entities are letting us down. I mean, how do you comprehend the issue that, as you said, CFO, that 140, you just recovered some invoices? In the first place, why there were no attachments to those payments? That's number one. How do you pay? In fact, it's not only your municipality. I've seen another one where monies were paid. Let me put it like that. They were here. Monies were paid. Those people are not even on the CSD. Am I right? They are not even tax compliance at all, but they were paid. I don't know how they go through the system, how they were paid. But I'm saying, for you, for your integrity, as you said, municipal manager, that's what you said, that you cannot risk your life coming and trying to help. At the end of the day, you find yourself in this situation. If you can't help, if you cannot turn things around, I think the best option is to agree that this municipality be dissolved. In my view, I think that will help everyone, because we are all professionals, besides political careers, but I'm talking about the management itself. If you have to be employed in another municipality with this record, I don't know, maybe, they'll use other systems. But if I have to have somebody, a CFO, and it comes from Masilonyana, I'll look the other way. MM coming from Masilonyana, I'll look the other way. Honestly speaking. So I'm saying, for the sake of progress, Chair, to help the municipality, I think Section 139(1)(c) would be the best option, not the one which they are finding themselves in. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Skosan. I'll come to Honorable Gupek. I just want to clear up something that was said, two matters. So there was a question around whether the administrator is in complete control or not. I understood that they're not earlier on. When you described their mandate, you said it excludes these 4 areas. That's not complete control. And then later on, when the Honorable Skosana was asking, he said, yes, there's full control. Can you balance the committee on which one is it?
Thank you, Chair. We have mentioned that the administrator has full control in terms of executive powers, except 4 areas. I think it's Section 160, which I mentioned, what those are.
Okay, so it's limited, so it can't be full control except, so they've got control of certain areas, because full control basically says we don't need you as municipal manager. Am I reading it wrong?
No, you're.
So it's partial control. It doesn't. Once you've said control, it doesn't mean they don't have control of a particular area. They've got full control of selected areas. Would that be fair?
It's a full control of most of the areas except only 4.
That's fine. That's not full control. That's not full control. It's a qualified control, if you know what that's what I was getting at, because we need to give the right understanding. The second issue is this. You recall that nyaga about no record keeping, and as the matter was described, was the fact that we didn't even know whether the services were rendered, etc. So you remember that. Then later on in the conversation, there was now talk of, so I expected that given that you don't even know whether the services were rendered, I noticed even then that you were only talking about recovering some form of record so that you can present to the AG. No talk of whether verification of whether any wrongdoing happened while this transacting of the system was taking place. You remember that? So that kind of stood out for me as a gap, which is I get the absence of the records, but since you don't know whether some of the services were rendered or not, are you not interested in finding out if anyone therefore took money out of the municipality, exploiting the absence of this system unlawfully, and therefore certain crimes may have been committed? You understand what I'm saying? So here's a question: why only focus on the record and not on also finding out if any wrongdoing happened?
No, thanks, Chairperson. I think on that part, we are still going to come on that part because of most of all those transactions were disclosed as irregular expenditure. We referred them to MPEC for further investigation so that we can get a clear recommendation from that committee, and then will just implement the recommendation of that committee. But we are doing that. With this one official that was charged, yes, because of he paid without...
Sorry, I'm not clarified on the first part of your answer. So the irregular, I guess what you may notice irregular expenditure, which leads you on to other things, if you know what I mean, into recognizing. So yeah, okay, let me put it to you this way. If you don't have record, you really can't tell whether anything unlawful happened or not until such time that you have some record to tell you. Because once you've got that record, you will now start asking, yeah, but why were we paying something for this reason? Or why was a payment made before the service was completed, etc., etc. You know what I mean? I'm trying to understand, just help me simply here, the process that you are undertaking so that we know if it will lead to the right outcome or not.
Let me make example with this 140 million that I said it was paid without any supporting documentation. What we did, we obtained information pertaining to that amount, and then I went through that supporting documentation, whether it was in line with our approved municipal supply chain management policy. If it was in contravention with that policy, we disclosed everything as irregular for further investigation. The mandate of the MPEC is to ensure that where the supply chain management was not followed to the latter, if they was untoward to it, they need to recover. They must recommend that the money that has been incurred by the municipality, by that culprit, is recovered. So hence we referred everything there so that we can get the recommendation from that committee, and then we implement.
Tell me, the internal audit function. Do you have got an internal audit function?
We do have an internal audit funding, but like we mentioned in our presentation, it has been weak. I think that's why there were those kind of gaps. It's only lately now that we've got somebody appointed who's assisting the internal audit chair.
All right. No, thank you. We may come back to it later. Honorable Mayor.
Thank you, Chair. I think also in assisting to what the CFO is saying, previously what was happening, there was no record-keeping department. Every department has its own, kept on its own record from their department. Now, as we appointed the record manager, we have a central record-keeping area.
All right, thank you very much. Honorable Kupek and Honorable Nel May had some clarification questions. You did?
Yes, thank you, Chairperson, and thank you, and good afternoon. Yes, Mayor, you mentioned in your opening remarks that there's no policy that says you can't have someone outside the municipality managing supply chain management. You said something to that effect. can you tell us a little bit more? Who and which company consultant was managing supply chain management? If it was not in the municipality, I mean, it would have been in the municipality. Was it being operated by a consultant? And tell us a little bit more about that, because you had consultants that were doing your finances, but they were not able to complete it in 3 years because they were not able to find the opening balance. So for all this time, there's been no opening balance for financials to be done. And it's also, it reflects in the reports from the Auditor General. So obviously you changed systems from one system to another, which you also mentioned. There was data. You moved the data. So one of the areas that I wanted to check with, so those were the two things from your opening remarks, is what happened to the previous system's data, and your accounting system? Was it solar? What accounting systems were you using? Because for the past 10 years, this municipality has not been able to function properly due to your financials. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, Honorable Kupek.
No, Chair, I think my question was more or less around what Honorable Neil May is asking. I didn't quite understand what Mayor was saying. I wanted her to elaborate for us and tell us, what does she mean that the SCM was run outside the municipality, was run by a consultant? I don't understand. What does that mean?
Thank you, Chairperson. In the first question of 2015 and 16 in my presentation, when I said the system that was used by municipality, it was Data M. And according to the compliance in terms of the score, the municipality was using SAGE system. And that system, in terms of migration, that's where the problem started. Because it only took 4 days to migrate to the SAGE system, of which it was supposed to took some time in terms of feeding the other system. Hence, we reached to this the opening balance and the closing balance that were not aligned. In 2020, the then municipal manager, whom I said we suspend him, he appointed a service provider to run the supply chain for the municipality. And there were more, I think about more than 70% of the tenders that were issued by then. That is where the council, when I entered the council, and then we were advised by Treasury to say, take all this matter that was in 2021 December, take all this irregular, go and declare it as irregular to the council. And that brought us to this high litigation that we have within the municipality, because we were bound to terminate those companies that were appointed by that consultant, and then we open a case against that consultant. Part of the cases that are on the Hawks.
Tell me, Mayor, so can you tell us, was this, I mean, to your knowledge, the appointment of an external service provider, and there's, any of your colleagues can answer, was it approved by council?
No, it was not, Chairperson. It was only one sole person who took a decision.
So, do you know if council became aware? Were you in council at the time, or you came in 2021?
I was in council, but we were not aware until it was announced in the council. It's when we take action against that.
Sure. Okay. All right. Honorable Kupeka, you were answered, correct? Okay. So we are 7 minutes to the end. Maybe let's just take clarifications and then break, so that we do justice to Honorable Skosana's. Are you coming back later? Okay, then we do justice. So let's just take follow-ups until 1 o'clock. Honorable Ment.
Thank you, Chair. The question around the person outside running a municipality, I think it needs some more information. If we can be helped with this information between now and the later session. The second information, Chair, I would like the municipality to give us between now and the second session is their organogram and the salaries. Who gets paid how much, and the categories of people that are operating, running the municipality. Your senior management, how many, how much, your councillors to the cleaner. The third information is around the investment. As the CFO gets very agitated when we speak of the investment. And I would suggest that the CFO gives us a full information around the cash management account and the policy, the investment policy of the municipality. And when was it adopted by the municipality? So, and what is entailed by the investment policy? That will be with also the guaranteed endowment policy. Because during the VBS era, there were regulations in the Gazette by Treasury around investment. And this kind of an investment in the municipality where it doesn't talk to what additional funds, or rather what gets left out when you are utilizing whatever you have in your position. At this point, you don't have excess funds, but you are investing. So which money are you investing? And what's the purpose of investing? Because the purpose of investing is to acquire interest of whatever amount which you will utilize in whatever time, which is an excess fund out of your allocation. So we need all of that to be submitted to us between now and the later session so that we are able to move forward. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Honorable Skosan.
Yeah, no, thanks, Chair, and good afternoon to all our colleagues and to the team from Masilonyana, as led by the mayor, and to the AG team. Yeah, just one clarity-seeking question to the executive, to the mayor or executive mayor, because I've heard you earlier saying that you are using a collective executive system, not an executive mayoral system. But then you also, I think my colleague, another Skosana, we've got two Skosanas, asked about MMCs, and then you said you've got 3 MMCs. And my understanding is that under a collective executive system, you don't have members of the mayoral committee, but we've got members of the executive committee. They are not called MMCs because it's not an executive mayoral system. It's a collective executive. The executive has more power than the mayor. Whereas in an executive mayoral system, it is the executive mayor who's got the power more than MMCs. So I heard you saying you've got MMCs while you said you are using a collective executive system. Just wanted clarity on that. Because under a collective executive system, it means you are not an executive mayor, but you are a mayor.
Thank you, Chairperson. In terms of the, maybe it's me who didn't put it very clear. We have the member of the executive that are held in the Section 8 without executive powers, same as the mayor doesn't have executive powers. It's a collective type that account to council. Thank you.
And you are not the executive mayor, you are the mayor.
Correct.
Thank you very much.
I stand corrected. I've been calling you Executive Mayor.
I received, Chair.
I stand corrected, yeah. Okay, honorable members, I think we can adjourn. Is there lunch downstairs? There is lunch downstairs. Our colleagues will help you locate the venue. Thank you very much. We will then reconvene later on. If you could secure, in the meantime, the information that honorable member wanted. So basically, I think what's important is the management positions, but then below management, you don't need to provide granular detail. It's just X number of people, total remuneration, that sort of thing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, bengisho nje ukuthi siyanabe lunch ningakhambi ni. We are going with you at lunch. Please, all of us together.
You also notice that there is a partnership here, Skosana and Skosana. Thank you, we'll adjourn.